What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Pickswise live stream for high stakes contests. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. And happy Friday to you, Craig. It's going to be a heck of a day here trying to pick some of these games.
It is, but we're down to the end. Last few weeks of the Golden Nugget contest, last few weeks of the Westgate Super contest, and as we talked about Tuesday, we're definitely right there on the cut line in the Super contest to make a decent amount of money off our investment. We got some work to do in the Golden Nugget, and certainly the Golden Nugget have to pick 7 games against the spread, which is always okay, but given the fact that there's only one college game Saturday, that does change the dynamic. Thank goodness next week we got some bowl games that we can throw into the mix.
Yeah, that was definitely a task, right? Just the Army-Navy game. It was Army favored by 7.5. Neither team is good. Navy's really bad, but you got that spread, and nobody throws in that game. So, yeah, so we avoided that. We ended up going with 7 NFL games. I gotta tell you, man, exactly. So this was what we did. Like Craig and I, we locked in on 5 pretty quickly, right?
We did. We had a lot this week, yeah.
Right. I mean, it was the first 5 were great. The last 2. That was that was pulling teeth. That was brutal.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we're very. I feel like some weeks we were confident about 2 picks, sometimes 3. I feel like in the NFL we were confident in like between 3 and 4 we're like locked in, and then the fifth one is just kind of like, okay, we got to pick 5 games. I mean, for anybody to say they're super confident on 5 games, you're out of your mind. But there are people out there that guarantee that they're going to win 5. They just don't understand how this works. But I feel good. We are coming off a really good week. We're coming off an excellent month. 4-1 last week in the Super Contest, and we could have been 5-0. So a 4-1 week or a 5-0 week, and Wager Alarm is cashing in the Super Contest as of week 15. So I'm excited. Hopefully we get it this week. It's big week for us.
We've had 4 losses in the Super Contest in the month of November.
4-1, 3-2, 4-1, 4-1.
So 5 losses in the month of that's pretty good, Craig.
Listen, it's been a really good run, and the last week of the season, it may be different this year where we get some gimme games because of players not playing, but I got to tell you, there really isn't a lot of separation this year to have first round buys and have players taking off. So I have a feeling this is going to come right down to the end, and then what we're going to have to do. Listen, we're very fortunate to be in this position, but what we're going to have to do is if we continue on this run and we get to the final week, you and I are going to be looking at the people above us in the standings and sort of trying to map out who they've picked and which way they could be going, because we may need to jump a couple of people to get there. It's definitely part of the process.
Which I'm very much looking forward to. So you can check that out with the Super Contest as we go through. The Nugget, it's a little bit different of a story for us here. We're below the cut line. We need to make some moves. We need some crazy picks to kind of pan out. So what we did this year, and listen, this is all strategy based in high stakes contests, is when you need to catch up, you have to start making those contrarian picks.
Absolutely.
Might not look good, but if the majority of the people are not on those picks and you hit, it's a significant jump up. It really is.
Yeah, and listen, we're going to throw a couple picks out there, and we'll tell you which ones that are not necessarily our favorite picks of the week. Before we do that, I want to rewind to Tuesday. As I said, Tuesday, the closest to my favorite Thursday night game of the year. I mean, that was it, taking Minnesota on Thursday night. I just don't feel like you can pull the trigger on a Thursday night game not knowing what's going to happen on the weekend. But that one was another win for us on Thursday Night Football, taking Minnesota. Although it did kind of come down to the end. But guess what? Minnesota comes down to the end every week. But what happened in that game Thursday night? Team that didn't cover last week. Team that did. That was the matchup. And it is just a recipe for success in betting this season.
It's really kind of funny how that works. Indeed. Yeah. So Thursday night was a nice one for us. Again, came down to the last play. Typical Minnesota fashion.
Typical Minnesota. Yeah.
Unreal, unreal. All right. Well, let's start with the Golden Nugget. We'll do our picks and we'll make it through because 5 of these picks are actually going to be in the Super Contest.
Okay.
Which 5? Well, you just have to wait and see. First pick. Here we go. Craig, Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are at home. They are a 9.5-point favorite. The last time these two teams met, 41-14. Kansas City demolished the Raiders. Pat Mahomes threw for over 400 yards with 5 touchdown passes as well. And where are we going?
We're going to the Raiders this week. I think that there definitely is some value with the Raiders. Very similar to another team that we'll talk about. Remember, yes, they did lose last week, but again, rookie kicker who made the kick of his life to win a game. If it doesn't, are you still getting these 9.5, 10 points with the Raiders? I don't think so. Raiders are just a strange team. They went into Dallas on Thanksgiving Day and won that game outright. They also have won 2-3 games in a row over the course of the season and then lost 4 games in a row. So you never really know what to expect from them. But Kansas City does not deserve to be 10-point favorites over anyone in the NFL. Andy Reid kept that bye streak going last week, covering against the spread against Denver, the one team that basically can't figure out, how to score from an end zone one way or the other. I mean, look at the stats that Denver had. You would have thought they won the game last week, but no, they can't convert in the red zone. So Kansas City covered. Could the Raiders win this game? I mean, that's a good question. Can you make a money line bet and bet this on the Raiders? Stranger things have happened. I'm not going to call an outright win here because that takes some real you-know-whats. But I do think the Raiders will keep this close. And they were getting how many points against Dallas on Thanksgiving and won that game and was never in doubt of covering, by the way. So let's
plus 330 money line there for the Raiders.
Wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me to see the Raiders win this game.
All right. I love it. Listen, I pushed all in on Josh Jacobs over in the in DFS for that. So of course I'm looking at the Raiders here. All right, next game that we're looking at now. All right, so the Raiders were one of our 5 that we liked. The next game though on the list here, not so much, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans. 8.5-point favorites are those Titans. This line is actually down to 8 now. And you and I are taking the Jags.
Yeah, this is one of the picks where we're just going to go with a team that we don't think a lot of others are going to take in the Golden Nugget, to be honest. Listen, I mean, obviously we are supporting every pick that we make here, but this is one where clearly Jacksonville just got it handed to them last week against the Rams. Rams are not a team that in general can run the ball, but for whatever reason, Sony Michel showed up and just shut the game down and rushed for over 100 yards. Does Tennessee have the ability to do that this week against Jacksonville? I don't know the answer to that. Could it be Foreman? Could it be Hilliard? Could it be McNichols? I don't think any 3 of those guys can sustain drives for Tennessee, so that would keep Jacksonville alive. As bad as the Jaguars have looked all season long, let's remember, everyone loves the Colts, right? The Colts are great. They didn't cover against the Jacksonville Jaguars covered against the Colts, okay? Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Miami Dolphins. So, not impossible.
The Bills. It beat the Bills.
It beat the Bills 9-6. So before you get all crazy, why are they taking Jacksonville? It's a bad pick. I mean, please, are you watching the NFL this season? Anything can happen. Do I think Jacksonville's going to go to Tennessee and win? Probably not. Do I think that this game's going to be 23-16 with a few minutes left? Yes, and I'll take the points. So, yeah, we'll take Jacksonville.
Take the points, no doubt. All right, third game here on the list. Cleveland against the Ravens. Now, this line opened up at Ravens -1. It has now since flipped. I believe it's now Cleveland -3 at the books. We're taking the Ravens. We're taking 2.5 though here, so we lose the half point of value.
Right. Yeah. This to me is I don't know. Is it? Yeah. I guess I'll say it's my favorite pick of the week. I will say that. I just don't know where Cleveland comes off being a 2 or 3 point favorite over Baltimore in this spot. I know a couple of years ago Nick Chubb ran wild on Baltimore in a season where Baltimore went 11-5, and I get all that, but it was a different Cleveland team. It was a different Baker Mayfield. I love the spot getting points for the Ravens. I'm actually shocked that the line didn't flip. I know Humphrey is out. I understand that. but the Browns don't throw the ball anyway. So why
Right.
is that a huge factor? And again, you want to throw out things that happened the previous week. Did the Ravens lose the week before to Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh? Did they not cover? Yes, those things are all true. But there was a ball I saw Lamar Jackson throw to Mark Andrews that was this close to being caught for a 2-point conversion, which would have given Baltimore the lead, and then you would never be getting 2.5 points against Cleveland if that was the case. I don't understand this line. We'll take Baltimore, and I know it's up to 3 now, but I think the Ravens are going to win. And by the way, will it be close? Of course. I mean, this is sort of the way that the Ravens play. But game in the 20s, 23-20, 26-21, lining up for a field goal. Who's going to be the game-winning kicker? It's going to be Tucker. He doesn't miss. Take Baltimore.
All right. Well, there we go. So Raiders plus 9.5, Jags plus 8.5, Ravens plus 2.5. Let's tilt it over to the one favorite. The irony that this is our one favorite we're taking is absolutely phenomenal. And we were both in on this pick in a blink of an eye. Like, it was our fifth out of the choice, but you and I both said this on Tuesday. Like, we did. Detroit won the game of their lives last week.
They did, yeah.
Right? And now they come in and they take on Denver. And the two of us looked at this spread being like, how in the world is Denver, of all teams, an 8.5-point favorite over anybody against a team that was a 7-point underdog to Minnesota and then beat them outright? So how in the world is that? And now, Craig, this line is up to 10. It's Denver minus 10. You and I were like, clearly this means Denver's going to win 30-0. And there has been nothing to dispute that right now because the line is telling us here that Denver's just going to destroy them.
Yeah, they make the lines for a reason. I'm not a Broncos backer at all. I think honor against them. We've pretty much been right all season long, with the exception of maybe once. Maybe Dallas was that one time. Yeah, I don't get this line. I don't get it. It keeps going up. It must mean that Denver is going to smash Detroit this week. It's got to mean that, because I think the opposite. I look at the line and think, how can you not take these points with Detroit? They beat Minnesota last week. They covered against the Bears the week before. But the line is telling you no. It's suckering you right into taking those points. I guess the Broncos are going to win big. I guess so. We're taking them. Listen, the way that the thinking that we have on this has worked all season long, we're not going to stop doing it now. So if it looks off, you got to ride it.
Yep. Listen, the process has not changed one bit, and we're doing pretty damn well at that, which is why we're going to continue our process here, and we're taking the Giants. We're getting 10.5 points in the Nugget, right? And we're going up against the Chargers. Now, listen, a couple of things have kind of bounced in our favor a little bit, right? Keenan Allen out with COVID.
Yeah.
Mike Williams will get cleared. He's been testing negative, and he'll be fine, and I don't expect him to miss the game. But losing Keenan Allen is a big deal. Austin Eckler landed on the injury report with an ankle issue. But this is simply the fact that Craig and I do not take the Los Angeles Chargers. We didn't do this with the San Diego Chargers either. But no LA Chargers as a home favorite by more than 3.5 points.
More than 2?
They never cover.
They really don't. They really don't cover. What's interesting is that with Glennon getting the starting nod, the line went back down. So now I think you can only get 9.5 with the Giants. But it's a theory that we just continue to ride against the spread. The Chargers are brutal as home favorites. If you're watching this live stream and you're saying, oh, these guys, they just don't like the Chargers. They think they're not good. We took the Chargers as our favorite pick, +3 last week at Cincinnati, and they won by 3 touchdowns. Believe me, this ain't about who we like and who we don't like. It's about making the right picks. We took the Chargers. First pick on the board last week. Why? They were getting 3.
Couple of weeks ago, we sat there, right? A couple of weeks ago, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, where the Chargers were a home favorite, and it was like 3.5 was the spread. And I said to Craig, I said, these aren't your same Chargers, though. This is Herbert. This is Eckler. There's no way that these guys. This is a different team. Joe Lombardi's their new offensive coordinator. He's bringing the Saints system in there. This is going to be amazing. These are not the same Chargers. We got to do it. And Craig said, "All right, if you feel that strongly, we'll do it." And guess what happened with that pick? I'll give you one wild guess, Craig. What happened?
They didn't win. The Chargers beat the Eagles by 3 as 2.5 home favorites back in October. And that's it. That was the game. They beat them on a field goal with no time left to win by 3 as 2.5 point favorites. Everything else has been a bust. As a favorite. As a dog, they've been fantastic.
Yeah. Like I said, over 3.5 points, no. Under 3.5, we'll discuss it. Right? So the Giants here, plus 10.
Dallas.
What's that?
Kind of like Dallas.
Kind of like Dallas. Dallas is a home favorite. Oh my God. Right? Brutal. All right. The 6th game. So that's 5 right there. The 6th game is also in our top 5. And that's Bills plus 3.5 against the Bucks. Listen, I think that this is I saw this line and thought that this was a no-brainer. Yeah. All the talk that's gone on with Buffalo throughout the entire week just is more fuel for the fire for me, I think. Josh Allen is going to have to pass. He's going to have to throw the ball all over the place. And Tampa Bay secondary just doesn't have it. I'm not saying everybody's like, oh, Tom Brady's 33 or 32-3 against the Buffalo Bills. And I said, you know what? I don't care. He can beat them this time. It's not going to be a big game. It's going to be a field goal or less. Like that's it. So Buffalo plus 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I really like this one as well. Almost my favorite, along with the Baltimore Ravens. And I just love the way that this game is trending. You got a really angry team against a team that is fantastic, but do they really need this? I don't even know that they do. You shouldn't look at it that it's Brady team, and I get it. But the one thing that I will say, and I don't say this often during the year, I don't think I've said it that often, as a matter of fact, but I think that we both know that within the first 10 minutes of this game, we're going to know if we're going to win or not. I really think so, because, yeah, and listen, so you could say, you could say that about every game in the NFL. That is not true. Like, Tampa Bay has the potential to just throttle anyone. We've seen that before. And again, if they're up 14 and we're only getting 3 with Buffalo, we're going to be in trouble. But if, like, this game at the half is, 13-10 or 17-14, we're going to win. Buffalo's going to win the game, I think, at that point. We just got to watch out for a blowout in this game. Clearly, I think Buffalo goes into this uber focused after what happened on Monday night. I really like the spot for them. And if Tampa Bay is the best team in the NFL and they're so good and Buffalo is so bad and they're falling apart and they're not making the playoffs, then why is Buffalo only 3-point underdogs? Why are they only getting 3.5? Why aren't they getting 6? Why aren't they getting 5? I mean, this is a field goal. I mean, has Tampa Bay been less than a 3-point favorite over any team in the NFL this season? And it's Buffalo, and they're 3. Why? Because the Bills are really good. They have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Do not discount them. Take the Bills plus the points.
Take the Bills plus the points. All right. 6 down, 1 to go, and here it is. It don't get any uglier than this one.
Oh, this is the one. Yeah, this is just the one that
this
smells like yesterday's garbage.
We will say this vehemently. This is not a bet we recommend. Not at all. We are only doing this because there is no way anybody else in the Golden Nugget is taking the Chicago Bears, even getting 12.5 points against the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, I just don't see that happening. And this is a game that we are strictly using to say if it hits, we move up a ton. If it misses, well, we took our shot.
Right. I mean, look, we have 4 teams off for the bye. You have a team on Thursday night. We have to pick 7 games in the Super Contest, and we've already picked 6. So there's only 4 games left. And so, look, I mean, we are basically telling you, honestly, that between these 2 teams, we like the Bears more, getting the points in the Packers. That definitely is true. But at the same time, I think it's very hard for someone doing a radio show, doing a TV show, handicapping this game, and just speaking honestly and saying I like or I love the Bears plus the points. Like what is it that you could possibly say given their ATS record against Green Bay over the last decade since Aaron Rodgers has been there? It's horrible. But as Howard said, we have to take some chances. We got to go anti. And listen, if Green Bay wins this game 39-29, we win. We win this bet. Like so, and if it's 39-22 with 3 minutes left, just score a touchdown and give us the back door. and Fields is playing, not impossible. If Dalton was playing, I think I'd go somewhere else. But Fields is playing. There's a little of that what in the world could happen type thing. I like that. We'll take the Bears plus 12.5, reluctantly.
All right. So there you go. Golden Nugget, Raiders plus 9.5, Jags plus 8.5, Ravens plus 2.5. Love all the dogs, man. I love them. Broncos minus 8.5, Giants plus 10.5, Bills plus 3.5, Bears plus 12.5. For the Westgate Super Contest, as you might have guessed, we are taking the Raiders again. We are taking the Ravens again. We're taking the Broncos, we're taking the Giants, and we're taking the Bills. The only point differential here is the Giants are only getting 10. They're not getting 10.5 in the Super Contest. Not that I think that that's going to be a problem for us.
Yeah, what's interesting is the biggest line move. Would you believe, Howard? I mean, it is Denver. It is Denver. Denver is up to 10.5 now in most spots, and trending more toward 11. Something must be going on. Detroit has basically decided not to go this week to Denver or something. Something is going on.
They just Jamal Williams, the running back, because DeAndre Swift is hurt.
He's out.
Jamal Williams is out with COVID now. He just went on the COVID list.
So who's
what's that?
So I got to pick up a running back. So who's the running back? The weird name guy?
Jermar Jefferson or Gordon Igwebuike.
I mean, look, the total is 42.5 now. So I guess the anticipation is that Denver is going to win 23-3 or something like that. I guess so. I don't know. I mean, Detroit did have problems scoring against Chicago, not so much against Minnesota. We saw that Pittsburgh had no problem late in the game against Minnesota. It's the biggest line move of the week. It opened up at 8, went to 8.5, 9, 10, and I see 10.5 almost everywhere. By Sunday, it's going to be 11. So, yeah, I mean, and in this one, Denver wins by 10, we win, right? 9, we win, right? What's the line in this thing?
Denver, it's 8.5.
8.5. I mean, I can't believe we're on the side of the Broncos here. But I'll tell you what, if the Broncos, I mean, I can't say this because we may go back to them again. I never want to say never. But if the Broncos don't do this, they're probably going to do us wrong based on the way that we've done them all season long. But they better do us right. I won't rip them the rest of the year if they take care of business against the Lions.
I'm going to rip them no
fade
matter
them next
what.
Week.
Come on, Jerry Jeudy today. Jerry Jeudy this week. He's going to be masterful, right? 8 catches for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I guess Denver's blowing out Detroit this week. There's no other explanation for this line.
There's zero explanation for that line.
The Chargers are less of a favorite against the Giants than the Broncos are over the Lions. The Lions are 1-10-1. The Giants have 4 wins. It's. I think most people think the Chargers are better than the Broncos. Like it does. None of it adds up. None of it adds up. I'm not gonna try to explain it.
Well, we're gonna take that bewilderment and we're gonna bid you all good night on that moment right there. Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens, right? Join us on Tuesday next week when Craig and I we get to watch us do our happy dances. We went 7-0 in one and 5-0 in another.
Nope. There is actually, I'm reminded here, there was one other line flip. The Bengals were -1.
Oh, yeah.
And now San Francisco's -1.5 though. So that was that game was just too tough for me to call.
But in the contest though, they the line flipped before they set their lines.
Right.
Which was a huge bummer.
Yeah. So I don't really have a strong opinion either way on that game, by the way. So
I didn't until it was all of a sudden it was like San Francisco being a dog, a favorite, and we were getting points. Then I would have been in.
I just don't understand the line because I don't think San Francisco is very good. But I mean, Cincinnati was just 3-point favorites at home against the Chargers, and now they're getting a point and a half at home against the 49ers the next week. Like that's strange.
Well, Deebo Samuel has a chance to play.
Like, do you think the Chargers are better than the 49ers?
Yes, I do.
So why were the Bengals -3 and now they're +1.5?
I don't know.
I mean, this stuff I can't figure out.
Vegas, man, Vegas.
But listen, we're locked in right now. We are locked in. We're seeing everything happening. I like the way that things are going for us. So on to next week. Have a good weekend.
On to next week. Best of luck to all of you out there. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer, and for Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Pickswise live stream for high stakes contests. We'll catch you next time.